Hey guys, it's TF Note. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Spider-Man No Way Home Amazing Spider-Man. Very excited to review this one here. I was very anticipated for this and the Tobey Spider-Man. I have the Tobey one and this one here. I did not get that new Final Battle upgraded suit Spider-Man, but we are going to be getting the Final Swing Spider-Man and the Tamashii Nations, SH Figuarts line at the beginning of next year, so I'll wait for that one. But this one looks really cool. A lot of people are very excited for this one here. I did want to make a comparison with this figure here and the Mafex one, because I do own the TASM 2 Mafex one, but I can't find it, unfortunately. I will not be able to do a proper comparison with that. And I don't have the new Marvel Legends one. I'm holding out for leaks of the separate wave with those figures. Anyway, if you look at the box here, a lot of us know that we're not going to get that unmasked head, unfortunately. At this point, it is whatever. I'll have to get a custom, unfortunately. But you see the figure in the box there. It says Bandai Namco at the top. You have an image of Spider-Man right there. Marvel Studios, Spider-Man No Way Home. A very small Tamashii Nations quality sticker right there. As well as it says The Amazing Spider-Man. That is the web exclusive logo right there. Marvel, Bandai, and Tamashii Nations logo towards the bottom there. And then we get to the side here. It does say, if you can focus up, SH Figuarts and the Amazing Spider-Man. And then a more crouching, jumping, full body shot right there. And then a large full body shot of the figure right here on the side. When you do zoom in there, it does say SH Figuarts and the Amazing Spider-Man. Zooming in right there, you can see that. You do get SH Figuarts and the Amazing Spider-Man on the top. On the bottom here, again, it's just a bunch of support stuff. The support number. You're not going to need it, but there is the barcode there in case you are curious about that. On the back here, you do get a lot of different images of what you can do with this figure here. I zoom in a little bit there. You can see all of that. It does say Amazing Spider-Man SH Figuarts and ages 15 and up right there. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here's the figure out of the packaging. There are some things that I don't love about this, but other things I really, really, really love about this. And I think that they did an overall fantastic job. I do wish that they were able to give us some of the accessories that they originally promised, but that's not entirely Tamashii Nations' fault. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that we do get, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So even though we don't get the unmasked head, and I believe the separate neck piece, and then hands to hold a mask accessory, we do get a fair amount of stuff still. We do have these relaxed hands. All these hands are detailed with black webs and really nice red metallic paint. And then you do see a lot of that texturing in the hands. A little bit of where he would use his web shooters right there on his palm. That is really sick. And pretty much every set of hands is ambidextrous. So you get one on each side. You have these sprawled out action posed hands. You can see how some of the detailing of how the sculpting on the fingers actually, it looks really, really good. And then they gave us these more fingers bent down hands. So that way these are more like, spider wall crawling hands. The word spider was kind of redundant there, was it? But wall crawling hands here. Also, I would not recommend this, but these are rather soft plastic fingers. Just keep that in mind. These won't necessarily break too much, but if you put too much pressure, I'm sure plastic's going to start bending at some point. Speaking of point, we have pointer fingers. That's the one thing I might need to get the Final Battle upgrade suit for, because that comes with pointer fingers, and I don't believe the Final Swing version will. But pointer fingers, just like with the Tobey Spider-Man, that's pretty sick as well. Last but certainly not least, the thwepping hands. These look really, really nice. Again, you get to see the palms and the web shooters right there. Speaking of webs, we have different web accessories. We do also, we have these, I don't know what I was about to say exactly. I had a bit of a brain fart, sorry. We have these very cloudy short web blasts here, 2 for each side. And I can show it really quick. But, it's very basic, and Marvel Legends needs to adopt this system, and Mafex has been using this. You just put it in like so. It's going to take me a while to put in there. But you would plug in the rest like that. It's very similar to how they did Tobey's and a lot of Spider-Man imports figures. We also have these longer ones here. And I will actually go back into detail the previous ones in a second. I'm a little all over the place. These are a little less cloudy. compared to these. And actually, there's not that much detail on these to begin with. But you can see it's a little bit cloudy. It's still a little bit translucent here. Lots of nice web strands going all the way around there. Looking really good. And then we only get one of these. I believe these are the exact same or slightly different compared to Toby's web accessories, because Toby's definitely has a bent angle here and then a straight angle, or just a straight piece here for you know, a Spider-Man to hold all of that. We only get one of these, and you see all, you know, it's pretty translucent here, a little bit cloudy, but not too bad. And lots of these web strands going all the way throughout all this. That looks good. And these, you know, they are a little bit of a harder plastic. I can bend it a little bit, but if I bend it too much, it's going to snap. So, yeah, there's that. One thing I got to mention that is a big gripe of mine that's been happening with a couple of Spider-Man figures in the SH Figuarts line lately. These are the only hands that we get, and I'll talk about the detail more in a second. For fists, these are web-holding hands. We don't get actual fists. We don't get that with Miles. I think maybe even with Gwen we don't get those. I don't exactly remember, but Miles from Across the Spider-Verse in this line definitely doesn't come with these. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, you could double these web-holding hands for fist hands, but there's just the angle of how the you know, it doesn't look right. It really doesn't, man. Like, you could kind of fake it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, I guess, but come on, you were already paying like $80, you know? You should have just added those in. I could have sworn, I mean, I might be wrong. I could have sworn they had fists to begin with. I know definitely Toby's does. And if you had to switch out hands, then you should have switched out these more actual wall-crawling hands. And then we could have just used these more sprawled action hands here as wall crawlers. It's cool that we have these, but like, I don't know. It just really bugs me that some of these, you know, figures are just getting skimped out. Particularly from Bandai Tamashii Nations with fists, because Spider-Man does punch a decent amount of the time. Apologies for that slight rant. We are going to move on to the actual detail here. Overall, really nice looking figure, man. This is such a nice looking piece. One thing I want to mention before the obvious, some of these webs on my particular figure, I might need to look hard, but it could be the angle, like facing forward. Okay, actually, look right there where the eyebrows, above the forehead, actually right there. Those are pretty mismatched right there with those webs. And I think other parts, like right here, they're not even painted. So that is a big bummer, actually. And that's pretty noticeable, at least to me. It's a little bit bad on the top of the head here. The rest of it's not too bad. A little spotty, just very minorly spotty in some areas, but it's really bad around the forehead, on the side of the left side of the head, and on the very top. So that is, to me, a little unacceptable, because this, it is a little bit cheaper than the, the other figures in this particular line right now. But still, $80? That's, for some of these paint app issues, that is a lot. Yeah, I'm not digging that, man. What I do love is the overall sculpting. I think that the actual webs protruding are really nice, and then we have really nice texturing. Very beautifully metallic red going on here. They really nailed how that red looks for this particular Spider-Man. And then these nice big comic accurate eyes, they look fantastic. So in the light here, at least to me, this looks a bit more like a brighter red compared to the head, but in person it does fit. Maybe it just looks a little too metallic, that's why. I do want to show off that this neck peg, it is a little bit bent for some of these figures, which is a normal thing. But that is in skin tone, and then this neck piece actually pops out really easy, because we were going to get an alternate accessory for that. I'm sure somebody on eBay is going to make bank off of a headset with a removable neck. So kudos to them, honestly. The rest of the detailing is pretty nice. You get some of that detailing on the shoulders. It looks like a lot of the webs are looking pretty good. I cannot spot any mismatched black webs anywhere else. So unfortunately, parts of my head will have QC issues. But the rest of it doesn't look bad. And it's got a pretty consistent metallic red going on there. Spider logo. Fantastic with those long bottom four legs. Digging that. And then we have these even longer metallic red going on here. I really dig a lot of texturing going on the blue. Then we have some of those webs on the side here looking really nice. That metallic red again. And then this dark blue with all this texturing looks great. And 86 reviews actually mentioned this. The Tobey Spider-Man, unfortunately, with that blue in there, breaks up the red that covers that arm. Because of how this is designed, you know, you get a little bit of breakage of blue right there, but it's actually pretty accurate to, you know, you have this blue joint here, all that's pretty consistent, and that doesn't break up the sculpt too much, so I dig that. And then let's see, the actual web shooters, those are sculpted really nice. I think that the actual wrists get in the way of the sculpting. They kind of break it up a little too much, but that's going to happen with some of these figures, unfortunately. Again, great texturing on the side right here with the blue. You get a little bit of, you know, toy engineering looks and gappage in there, but that's pretty natural for how that engineering is supposed to go. And this piece right here should cover most of it. So that's sick. Yeah, man, that just kind of bugs me. It could be worse. But man, I really wish we had fists for the price. Anyway, this nice like waistband almost. Not really waistband, but it's nicely detailed. And we do have some nice protruding webs. The dreaded crotch piece for some of these Spider-Man figures. Some people hate it, some people don't mind it. Personally, I don't mind it, but I totally understand why people don't like it. It does break up the sculpt a lot. It would look better if it was like, I don't know, like Gohan or some of the 3.0 engineering with some of the Dragon Ball figures where they don't have this stuff breaking up the sculpt and it's just a hip joint. The other anime figures like Jujutsu Kaisen as well as Naruto, they just have standard sculpted legs and without any of this stuff going on here. But to me, yeah, it kind of breaks up things a little bit, but it's not as floppy and loose as this one here. This one was really loose, and these aren't as loose, so I think that's cool. You know, again, it's subjective how people feel about it. Didn't realize how much line work of just like basic long lines, like just one smooth line going down here. Really nice attention to detail that I never noticed on this suit. All that texturing on the blue, really nicely painted and sculpted. The knee on camera looks a little off compared to the rest of this, but in person it's really not that bad. Then we get down to the actual boot parts here with the black and the red metallic feet. These are very, to me, reminiscent of how they did the Mafex one. Again, I wish I could find it, but I just am struggling to find that one. My room is kind of Pandora's box sometimes, unfortunately. But the system here where we have parts covering the ankles, you know, it doesn't get in the way of articulation. It does look a little weird. The Toby Spider-Man has that, but I'm kind of over it. It's fine. And then the top of the feet, all that looks pretty good. One thing I never really mentioned with the Toby Spider-Man, I wish we had treading on the bottom of the feet. There should be some treading. It's just black, basic black right there, unfortunately. I don't think I'm missing anything else. You get a little bit of that exposed joints going on with some of these, you know, parts, especially the back of the knees, but everything else about this is a beautifully sculpted and detailed figure, besides some of these QC problems. Very standard articulation with SH Figuarts, so it's really good. One thing I didn't mention is that this neck does, you know, the head does seem like it sits a little too high. The neck seems a little too long. But that is as far as high as it goes. You could see some of that skin detail, unfortunately, with the gappage. And then that would pop out sometimes. You really got to force it, though. That's as far down as it wants to go. And then you can make it go side to side. It's a little bit stiff on this, but all this nice range of motion and swiveling, and then you can, you know, you do end up breaking some of the sculpt a little bit too much, unfortunately. I think there might be some paint rub here, but forward and back is really good, and then it can go actually down and out and all that. And then you can go all the way out like this. You can go up a little bit maybe. Arms go all the way around. Upper arm swivel. It's a little bit tight, but not too bad on my figure. It does swivel here too. We do have double jointed elbows. I think that's it when it comes to swiveling. We have a standard wrist articulation system where it swivels and hinges and all that. We do have double ball jointed, you know, diaphragm and all that. It really just swivels here, which will break up the sculpt, but then forward and back and side to side is really good. And then the side to side is like non-existent here, but we actually get really good forward even though there's a lot of gappage. That's as far forward if you want to make it go. And that's as far back as it wants to go. So that's actually really good. But again, mind the gappage. Legs go forward. Man, look at that butt. And then back like that. Almost perfect splits. And then we do have upper thigh swivel going on here. No drop down method. We do have double jointed knees. I'm trying to see. There's nothing else there until we get to the ankles here, which rotate. They go this far down, which is great. this far up, which is actually fantastic too, with that plastic piece in there. Ankle rocker, and then toe hinge. For size comparisons, measuring this out as well, we're looking at really close to like 15.5 centimeters. So that's going to put this at about 6.25 inches tall. It is going to be a little bit taller than the Toby Spider-Man from SH Figuarts. This is a pretty tall figure in the middle there. And it's actually right at the same height, if not a little bit shorter than the new Mafex Nightwing. I don't know how accurate that sizing is supposed to be. But as you can see on the far left, we have a standard size Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Far right, standard size Black Series figure. Overall, I am really digging this figure. I'm really glad that, at least to me, this turned out really good. I do wish it could have been a little bit better. One thing I did forget to mention is that seeing this online, the proportions looked a little bit weird. The torso looked a little long, and the arms and legs looked a little skinny and a little too long in some areas. But having it in hand, I actually don't think the proportions are all that bad, if I'm being quite honest. I know that sounds like I'm on copium, but that's just a personal thing with me. One thing I do think is pretty out there is the neck. I do think it's just a little too long. They should have shortened that. But the metallic red on this thing, most of the black webs on this thing, besides parts of the head with the QC issues, are done beautifully. The blue on here is really fantastic. Besides some of the missing accessories that we should have with this figure, we do get a really good number of stuff. Besides fists, which should be standard, and I don't think web holding hands are that proper of a substitute. Overall, though, if you love this version of Spider-Man, this is a highly recommended figure here, or wait for hopefully a single release of the Marvel Legends figure, or, you know, I think the 3-pack is still available, and some of you may own the Mafex one. Maybe you could stick with that one, but also this is a really nice figure still. It's about $80. It's a web exclusive. I'll leave links down in the description below where you can pick it up. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think of the figure, think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.